You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. You are watching USA Global TV, or maybe you're listening on Business Talk Radio. This is the variety show, and I'm so glad we brought this show back. I had put it on hiatus for the summer, and I thought we really need more variety, entertainment in our lives, so let's bring the show back, and what a way to bring it back. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. We've got an amazing show for you today. We have an award-winning guitarist and composer. Let's bring him on. His name is Panteleimon Michaeloudis. I hope I did that okay.
You did that perfectly. It's a difficult name, and at some point, if we have time, I'll tell you the whole story. But first of all, let me say a huge thanks to you for inviting me on your beautiful show, and thanks to you and Mr. Philip Chan for making the connection. Thank you, and to all your audiences that are listening to us today. And please tell me anything to answer any questions.
It is our pleasure to have you here. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm actually, although I'm originally from Cyprus, Famagusta, to be perfectly honest with you, but I came as an 8-year-old to London, where I actually studied music at the Royal College of Music. I was very fortunate enough to win a scholarship there. But my father is my teacher, really. So he taught me music, tennis, all the things that I love in my life. He's taught me. Hopefully, you'll think later on that he did a reasonable job anyway, let's put it that way. But I am actually at the moment in London. I'm speaking to you in London. So good afternoon from London, and I believe I should be saying good morning to you. Is it New York, I believe? Is it?
I'm actually in New Jersey. Business Talk Radio is out of New York. Yes, but we're very close, so it's just a car ride away. So I am very excited that you're going to be performing for us today. But before we begin, I'd love to hear, because there are a lot of people who are looking to become award-winning, right? They're looking to take their personal, their creative juices, so to speak. You know, as a creative artist, everybody wants to have award-winning. So, can you share with us a little bit about how you got to where you are today?
Yes, a very nice question and very flattering question. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Basically, if I've won anything, or if I've done something in my career, I really do owe it to my father, because he has been the guiding force for me throughout my career, to be honest with you. And when it comes to the award, basically it started off, it's a long story, I don't want to bore your audiences, but I will say a little bit. When I was a young boy, I started the guitar 10 and a half, and by 12, I got taken to see the great maestro Andre Segovia. And on hearing me, he was very kind enough to say to me two things, which as a young boy, I didn't understand. The first thing, he said to me, "Oh, you've got a very, very warm heart and a great facility." And all the way back home, I was asking my father, what does warm heart mean? What is this? But basically, he encouraged me to enter a conservatoire, a music college, where I was fortunate enough to win a scholarship to the Royal College of Music in the junior department. And then from there, I won another scholarship to go into the senior department. And again, fortune was with me, because having graduated from the Royal College of Music with all the major awards there, I was then asked if I would like to become a professor there, teaching the guitar to the next generation, the fantastic new guitarists that are always coming up. And I was very fortunate and very honored to be asked to to teach there, to be a professor there at the junior department, and I taught there for 9 to 10 years there. But now I spend more of my time composing for film, for television, and anyone out there that wants to hire me to write for them, please feel free to do so. You're very kind enough to put up my website there, so you can contact me. But coming on to the award there, I was very, again, fortunate. There is a film, if anyone is at all interested, you could see an award-winning film and composition on, it's called A Zionist Journey from Eritrea to Romania. I did this back in 2011, and I was fortunate enough to win the Palme d'Or award for my score there.
Congratulations. That's extremely exciting. I want to talk about your composing, and I also want to hear you play your beautiful music. But I want to ask you a question about the teaching, because it's so important, helping other people and giving back. What was the greatest lesson or takeaway that you had as a teacher?
Well, basically, my father used to tell me this as a young boy, and it's absolutely right, actually. The fact that one thinks, yes, it is such an honor and a pleasure to teach, to give back what you've got from somebody else, to give your knowledge to somebody else, and it's such a great feedback from that. But also my father told me, and I've experienced it myself, that we think we don't learn from our students, but we learn more from our students. Perhaps we learn more from our students than the students learn from us. And I think a very strong thing that we learn is to find different ways to teach somebody, let's say, that's not so talented, and that's more demanding, and to be very patient and very giving, because I think that's very important. And I would like to bring in here that my father, even now at his elderly stage in his life, he still teaches people, and for free, if I may say so. He still teaches people free, like that, and he actually loves what he does. And I was telling Philip today, and a very nice story here, that not a good place to be, but I attended a friend's funeral. Unfortunately, he passed away, and then there was a guy came up to me, and he said, "Are you Mr. Michaeloudis' son?" I said, "Yes." "Do I know you? Sorry, do I know you? I don't think we've met." And he grabbed me, he embraced me, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I said, "Oh, thank you, but how do I know you?" And he said, "Your father, when we were in Cyprus, we had no money, no way to learn music, and both myself, my brother, and my sister wanted to learn music, and my father took them under his wing, as it were, and taught them all free of charge. One of them, I think, the piano, the other one, the violin, and the other one, something else, which evades me now, because my father plays all the instruments, to be perfectly honest with you." So,
your father sounds like an amazing person. I love the fact that he's teaching from his heart, which is amazing. Panteleimon, what type of music do you play? How would you describe it?
Yes, again, good question here. It's an interesting one, because obviously writing for film and TV, you have to be versatile. So, I mean, but I always try to write from the heart. I'm a true romantic. My wife will testify to that. So I always love a good melody, a romantic melody. But of course, sometimes in a film or something like that, you need to write something, let's put it this way, scary or with intense. So you're not going to write a romantic melody there. But if you're asking me, what do I prefer? I love all kinds of music, but I do like a romantic melody, and a piece which I will play for you, a shortened version of a song that I did called Freedom, and today we'll play the instrumental, just a snippet of it, because as your audiences don't know this, but I was not prepared to play live, but unfortunately the videos that I had sent are not working. So please, before I play, I say sorry, because I've been spending my last couple of months actually writing as opposed to playing, and especially in this lockdown. And I would like to say to everyone in the US and everywhere else in the world, keep well and keep safe, really. And hopefully sooner or later we'll come out of this horrible situation that we are all under with the pandemic here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we have a comment from the lovely Mr. Philip Chan. It's so great to have his father as mentor, and I love Panteleimon Michaeloudis. How do you say it again? Michaeloudis.
Well, it's actually Panteleimon Michaeloudis, but I love the way you say it anyway. Yes, because you see the P, the Panteleimon, the P in Greek is actually pronounced as a B. Yes, we have a weird alphabet, and the CH is like a sound that is not normally in the West. The H is like Michaeloudis, as opposed to yeah, you say it beautifully. Not only do you look beautiful, but you say it beautifully as well.
Oh,
sorry.
Thank you.
I hope
it's a beautiful name.
My wife will kill me for saying this.
No, you're just being kind. I appreciate it. So I'm going to spotlight you and take the banner down. I'd love for you to play your first piece, if you would.
Please, and hopefully the computer will not play tricks on us. The first one that I will play is a piece. Is a piece called Freedom. It's actually a 4-5 minute song, but I compressed it down to like a minute or so for an interview that I did for Cyprus recently, and hopefully it will play for us here. I hope. Hopefully you like it.
I didn't want you to stop. I didn't want you to stop. That is magnificent.
Thank you very much. That I wrote a while back. And if I may, since I'm getting a bit warmed up, can I play you the other very famous but my arrangement of the Asturias? If this computer will work, because it's been playing recently. Let's see if it will. Oh, here it goes.
Woo! Bravo, bravo! That's outstanding.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the
Thank
audience.
you
listening.
very much. Wow, from Philip Chan, and he said, love to hear him play live in the same room to hear the whole dynamics of the richness of the guitar. It sounded phenomenal. How do you feel playing?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, a bit strange. It's so coming back to what you said, a very good question you posed before about teaching and giving. I mean, when you teach, you give in a different way. When you're composing, which also I adore doing, I could stay in my little studio that you can see in this room for hours, just with a cup of coffee, which I have here next to me, for hours on it, because I love to create. But it's a different thing to create and to actually when you're performing, because when you're performing, one of the teachers at the Royal College of Music said to me something very interesting. The fact is, like, as you have to repeat a certain pattern in your hands, what we call muscular memory, and that is in performing. And I hope your audience liked a few of my notes, because if I'm being totally honest with you, I've spent more time composing these days. I'm involved in various projects for composing, and I want to continue, of course, not forgetting my playing. I do play a little bit on a daily basis, but not as much as I should. Don't tell my father or my wife that. But yes.
And I understand that you have performed all over the world. And is there one particular performance that stands out the most to you? And if so, why?
Again, very good question. I was fortunate enough to perform actually I came a while back in the US, on a ship called The Legend of the Seas, where I think it was Caribbean cruise liners, and I had to be doing 2 to 3 concerts to a capacity, and those cruise liners, there's probably about 2,000 to 3,000 people, and it was my first experience playing concerts on a cruise ship. But the people were so warm, they made me feel so welcome, even though I was very nervous playing, but they made me so feel as if I was at home, as if I was back either in London or in Cyprus. And they were so, and this, I'm not just saying it because I am on your show today, but I think the American people have a certain warmth, which I absolutely love, because I'd like to think of myself as Andres Segovia said, a warm heart. Now I understand what he means. Like, you play with passion, you give to people. And so those experiences were great. But there is some other experiences which I had, which were terrific for me, were in London. When I was a young boy, I used to go, there is a hall called Wigmore Hall, which is, as inverted commas, the best for guitarists anyway. It's such a beautiful hall in London, and I was fortunate enough to play there twice. And in another one, you had the Queen Elizabeth Hall again in London. But a special, since I am talking mainly to American audience, hopefully worldwide, but I was invited a while back, whilst I was still a student, to actually entertain the US ambassador at the Winfield House. And that was a very special event for me, as well as, of course, entertaining royalties like in Denmark, the Prince and Queen. And over here, I did a concert for the Queen and the Queen Mother, to be honest with you. So I've been fortunate enough to play to quite a lot of people. You can find a little bit more about me on my new website, which is www.panteleimon.net. Hopefully people will check out that website. Not to buy any CDs. I'm not plugging for people to buy anything, but just take a look and hear you, because I write various music from classical to pop music. I write songs. So if you go and check out that website, you'll see. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Panteleimon, because there I have some videos on my Facebook. Let's become friends on Facebook if you like any of my music anyway.
Of course, everyone must love your music, and I love your passion, and you're so friendly. We need to take a commercial break, but I do want to ask you a question, which is something popped up today when I was over on Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app, and I was in Breakfast of Champions room, and several people were talking about how in the school systems here in the States that the curriculum doesn't necessarily include music classes, drama classes, all of these things. And so I understand that your guitar compositions have been included in some public high school syllabuses in Cyprus. And so
Yes.
I'm wondering three things. So as a composer, as a performer, and as a professor, how important do you think it is that students have access to courses like this to help them express themselves creatively?
Sure. Again, you say it beautifully. You ask perfect questions. And basically, I think music, I'm not trying to preach here, but from my point of view, I think music should be for everyone. And it's actually like a therapy, and sometimes people that actually play music more like for a hobby, it's actually even more beneficial for them, because they're not trying to earn a living. They're not trying to sort of, let's say, get showcased like I am trying here myself, for people to hopefully like my music. And I think basically it should be for everyone music, and everyone should try even a little bit, even if they don't like it at first. You see, as you progress and as you get better, you actually get more into it. And I have again, I'm plugging my YouTube and all my other places. I have music which is which I was hopefully next time my videos will play. Like I have a piece called Balanda Romantica. Yes, obviously it's a romantic piece, but I feel very fortunate, because I get emails from people around the world saying, God, when I hear this, I feel so relaxed and so calm. And I think music has this effect. It's got many effects, excitement, but at this moment in time, I think we all need to go have a little bit more chilled out to, from what we're all enduring, this pandemic. And hopefully, like I said before, we'll get over this, and hopefully my music might help some people. I mean, it's downloadable if you like to hear. I mean, on YouTube, and you can play it as many times as you like. And trust me, it does. I have had, in coming back to what you had said about the. I've been very fortunate that one of my pieces is included not only in the music syllabuses in Cyprus schools, but also in the ABRSM examinations for grade 4. And it's such an honor for me and a pleasure when I have people either emailing me or finding my phone number and texting me to say how much they enjoyed. And when I see, and especially, but everyone that's plays it on YouTube, it's called Nightfall, by the way, this piece. And again, that's a tranquil piece. And it's great, because I think it does de-stress you, and I strongly recommend people starting up music. That's what I would say.
That's fantastic. Lots of gems in there. I appreciate it. We do have a comment, and I'm totally in agreement with this. Excellent music. I would love to hear some more. So thank you. Is it Tarek? Tarek, I hope. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and hopefully you'll play some more music for us.
I'll try to play one piece, one of my first pieces that I played as a young boy. Hopefully I can still remember it. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. We'll be right back. Stay with us here on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydboehm.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydboehm.com.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You're watching The Variety Show, and we are here with Panteleimon Michaeloudis. Not perfect, but I'm working on it.
He's fantastic. So.
He's an award-winning guitarist and composer, and he is going to just take our hearts away with another beautiful piece. Tell us what we'll be listening to, please.
Well, this piece it was one of the first pieces I learned, and I know I should play. It is called Romance d'amour, but with my father's and my arrangement of it. And it'd be nice if your people write in and tell me if they recognize this piece. And if they like it, of course. And then I put the tremolo in here with my arrangement. Hope the audience likes it. Thank you.
I love how you end each piece in sort of a dramatic way.
Thank you. I think I've been told that sometimes I like I like tranquility, but at the same time, I think most people will be like that. We love excitement, don't we? I think, and that's sometimes when the director something comes up and says to me, "Oh, I want this part to be dramatic or with emphasis." It's music to my ears anyway, like that. Yes, I'm glad you like it. Of course, there was a little bit more to that piece, but I thought I don't want to bore your audiences. So, Andres Segovia taught me a little thing when I was a young boy and I went to see him. He said something which has always stayed with me. He said, "You must always give your audience less so they will want to hear you next time, and hopefully you'll invite me again. So if I give you more, I don't know if you agree.
I love that. You're just teasing the audience because we love your music and we'd love for you just to play the whole rest of the show out. But no, I appreciate that. I respect that. So a question I have for you as a performer, and you touched on this a little bit. So creatives have definitely been impacted because of this pandemic, and people were used to being on stage, or they're used to sharing their talent. The fact that you are a composer and you are able to keep writing, how has the pandemic impacted you? Obviously, as a performer, you've been impacted, but as a composer, have you been able to tap into more of your creative side and write more than you normally might?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, if I'm being totally honest with you, the pandemic, not that I like it, because I feel like a total prisoner, especially the fact that I've been trying to, inverted commas, protect my elderly father. So I haven't had much contact with the outside world. I know the audience is going to laugh at me with this, and they're going to think I'm totally crazy with this. But my highlight of the day, apart from my writing the music, it has been to actually just go the drive-through McDonald's and get my coffee and to have my quick walk around that area and just come back again. But in terms of creativity, this pandemic has, because we spend a lot of time fortunately or unfortunately, in front of the computer, creating basically. So in that sense, the pandemic has actually, I don't like to use the word help, but hopefully the audience understand that I've spent a lot of time, and I've actually composed a lot of music in this. How many is it? A year and a half now that we've been in lockdown and with this pandemic, and hopefully I want to write more music, but without the pandemic. But yes, it doesn't hinder being indoors with writing, but it does definitely hinder. I've missed actually playing live to the audiences. I have given performances as we're doing today, virtual, but not live. You get a different buzz, obviously, seeing the audience in front of you. And I hope sooner rather than later that we'll be back to normality again. I hope.
Yes, I think we all do hope that. I'm wondering, when you think about how we are interacting today, for example, and you're able to play your music, do you think there will be some type of combination in doing something like this in conjunction with being live and on stages? Or do you think it will go all back to everybody going to a theater or performance hall?
Again, fantastic question. I've had this discussion with friends and colleagues, and sadly to say that I would say about 95, if not 99% of my colleagues and friends have said they don't think things will go back. And I don't want to disappoint people. I'm still trying to be positive here that it will go back, but they think no, that it will not go back. But again, what you say is very interesting, because I've had the notion for many years now to do this. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite materialized, because you need quite a bit of backing and a whole team around you to do this. Like for example, some of the pieces you heard, some of my own and some of my arrangements that here would be fantastic to actually do them virtually, and also, or rather, sorry, let me rephrase this, to do them live, but at the same time that you're linking in like you see in a cinema, basically, that you see the visuals there, but you're also alive. I hope that will happen, and it will be fantastic. But I don't know. Please, Jacalyn, you make me feel better. What is your? I know you're supposed to be asking their questions, but let me ask you: do you think we'll ever go back to how we were?
No, I don't think so. And I think part of the reason is that during this time when we've been remote and people like yourself are able to come onto platforms like this, that it's nice. I think when I used to go to New York and take a train and get all dressed up and go to Broadway, have dinner. And I think special occasions like that are just really amazing. But I think people have learned now that, I don't have to travel. I don't have to spend as much money as I used to spend. And I can still have great entertainment and have the ability to be connected to such great talent like yourself that, maybe wherever you're performing, I'm not able to go, right? Maybe wherever you're traveling, I'm not able to get there. But yet I now have this incredible exposure to you that I can then share over and over and over again. And with, I don't know, that's what I think.
Yeah, no, good point. And to a wider audience, it's funny because how things turn out, because I remember, even though I started touring at a young age and going all over the world, which I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed playing at the Sydney Opera House, playing various all over the world. I enjoyed that very much. But it can be lonely. It can be lonely going from, especially if you're doing solo concerts. If you're playing in an ensemble, it's a different, and you get to hang out with your friends, and it's fantastic. But it's hard work, because I remember when I always used to come back. I was very fortunate because in some of the schools I used to teach, my father, poor thing, he would go and teach on my behalf, so the students would not miss out. But I used to think, and it's funny how the world changes. I used to think, God, wouldn't it be good to actually just have concerts in your own home? And actually, this is what just happened. Well, not just, but you understand that with the pandemic, this is you're probably all right that it's going to be the norm for the rest of our lives, I guess. But I hope that will come a little bit, at least a little bit, back to more normality, because yes. This pandemic, again, I reiterate, it sort of creates your creative juices, but you want to interact with people as well. I love people. I love, and this is, thank you again. I thank you so much, because even if that is virtual, that I still, I'm talking to somebody else apart from the person that I'm picking up the coffee from McDonald's, which is very nice. They are very nice. So.
No, I really appreciate that. Something I'd like to close out the show with, because I think it's really important. And I have to say that I was naive to all of this before I started interviewing people last year on this platform. But creative people such as yourself, and I'm not saying this applies to you, but I'm saying just in general, you have such great talent and skill, and you're not always compensated accordingly when people go to download music, for example. So I wasn't aware of the fact that a lot of that money doesn't actually go to the performer.
No, absolutely. Very good point there. Because even though, sorry if I may plug this as well, please. I do have a Spotify account there with my name, Panteleimon Michaeloudis, and I have things for you to download there. I think it's free. I'm certainly not getting any money, as you certainly said, and I think that is sad, because there is, as an artist, you don't do it. And my father has taught me everything as far as art is concerned. Nothing about business. I put my hands up and say I'm not a business person. And if there's any good managers there that want to take me up with my music and place my music in more films, I'm up for that. But I think it's very, very sad that artists, yes, you work very hard. You don't. Well, I certainly don't do it. I need to make a living, but I don't do it. Yes, I'm not obsessed by money. So some people can be, but I'm not like that. But at the same time, your efforts need to be compensated like any other. And I would say, I can't think of anything now, but let's say sportsmen. Yeah, which I love. I love sport, because if I wasn't going to be a musician, I think I would have loved to be a tennis player. I wasn't too bad at it, or a football player. They get compensated for what they do, and I think it should be for everyone. I know it sounds very naive, like that, but I think if you could, I think sometimes people think because And I've had this done to me as well many times. Is that, oh yeah, but you enjoy what you do. Yes, I certainly do, but I need at the same time to survive. I need to make some living, and especially now the last couple of years, 3 to be precise, I got married to my beautiful wife Mary Lambru, who Michaeloudis is. So basically, she's a musician as well, and we say the same thing. Unless you're a teacher, which you get an income coming in on a regular basis, but if you're freelance as musician like myself, there is no regular income. So you're relying, hopefully, to people download your music. And an interesting, very, very quickly, I'll tell you an interesting story. One of my nephews, in fact, who is a business as person on, and he said to me, "Oh, but Panteleimon, uncle, you don't expect to you people to pay for downloads of your music." And I said, "Well, I'm not. That's my work. So it's not that I want people to pay and pay and pay, and I'm not clagging for that, but at least something to show their appreciation, not basically take musicians or artists for granted, basically. That's what I'm saying, basically. And I hope your audience out there agrees. I don't know. It'd be nice to hear that.
That's definitely fair, because I think in any profession, no matter what you do, there's a value exchange, right? So you're providing value and you need to have that value back. And I think it's also for self-esteem as well, that you want to know people appreciate you and that they like what you're doing. One final question I have for you is, you touched on this earlier. You just mentioned this word briefly, nervous. And I thought, do you still get nervous when you perform? Because you've done it so much.
Absolutely. I've been performing basically since I started guitar at 10 and a half. As Greeks always say the half as well. It's 10 and a half. and 10 and a half by 11, after 6 months, I gave my first concert with my father. I did half of the concert was solo. And now, many years after now, at my old age, I still get nervous. But I think it's not a good thing that you're getting nervous and your heart is pounding like that, but it means that I still care. And I'm still passionate for it, because if you don't, it means you basically don't care of what you do, or of what you're trying to input. But my father, last week, then I promise I'll leave the audience.
No, go ahead.
When my father, because he thought he had a guitar orchestra as I was learning in the guitar, so I had lots, I was trying to catch up one student, then the other and the other. But each new student of mine, he used to call me from upstairs, "Panteleimon, come downstairs, play for this new student," and so forth. So each time I had the experience, inverted commas, you never have enough experience, but you played. So I got used to that, but I still care enough to get nervous about it. And I think I'm not one of those artists, and I can name you a lot, but I will not, especially not publicly. I've worked with many well-known artists, but I will not name them. The fact that they say, "Oh, we don't get nervous." Well, I think if you don't get nervous, you don't care for what you're doing, or you're not actually human. Because if I pinch myself, I will feel it. So by the same token, I think we get nervous. Yes, we learn to cope with it perhaps a bit more, but yeah, that's my understanding of it. I hope you don't think I'm mad, Jacalyn.
No, not at all. No, I have to say that even though I've been doing this since August of last year, every time the first show of the day, I'm always nervous, because I'm thinking, "Oh, what if I get the production piece wrong and I hit the wrong key, or this or that happens?" And then as it goes on, I start to level off.
Absolutely right. And lastly, I just want to say a huge thanks to you, really, and to your audience, and for having me on your show, and thank you for listening. I hope you liked a few of my notes. Thank you, and I hope we'll be in touch soon. And at some point, you'll show my videos as well, and people go out there and just see the videos and music and download them.
What I was going to suggest is you and I will get together and figure out about the videos, and we'll have you back on the show with the videos. So let's plan on working on that for a future show.
Thank you, Jacalyn. Have a great morning and a good afternoon from London. My love to you all. Really.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Oh, what a fabulous man, and he's so talented and so humble. So it was wonderful to hear his music. If you missed any of our show, which I see some of you just joining now, please go watch the replay. Just go over to our YouTube channel. You see it right there, USA Global TV, and you can see all of our shows there. We're also, of course, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, Apple. But YouTube, I think, is the easiest to navigate and find our programming. Okay, we've got some other great shows coming up today, and you can find us right here. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in 15 minutes with fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure with my co-host, Diane Floyd-Boehm, international award-winning children's book author. So stay with us, and we'll be right back. Thank you again.